Okay, for the first question, notice how this says f of x is equal to, and then we have an expression here. This says what is f of negative 8. So this negative 8 is in the same place that the x is in. So that means I replace every x I see with a negative 8. So negative 3/4 times negative 8 plus 5. So for this question, you can use your calculators and type in the fraction, and depending on what type of calculator you have, you might type in your fraction a few different ways, but we can type negative 3/4 times negative 8, and we get positive 6. So it's positive 6 plus 5, which is 11. So 11 is our final answer. The next one, number 2, g of x is equal to, and we have an expression here. It says g of a is equal to negative 5. Then what is the value of a? So this is telling us that the whole expression is equal to negative 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. This is saying replace x with an a. So 2/3 a minus 7. So in order to get my variable by itself, I'm going to add 7 to both sides first. And that gives me positive 2 is equal to 2/3 a. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that over here where I have some more space. I have a fraction, so I could multiply by the denominator on both sides. When I multiply by the denominator, that's going to cancel my fraction out. So I've got 6 is equal to 2a. And then I would divide both sides by 2, and I get 3 is equal to a. From this step, when I had 2 is equal to 2/3 a, I could have also chosen to divide both sides by 2/3. And again, you can do that with your calculator. 2 divided by 2/3, and you see how you get 3. So either way gets you the same answer, just depends what kind of steps you wanted to take. Marquise buys a meal card for his college cafeteria. The balance of the meal card in dollars is B is given by the function B of M is equal to 500 minus 5M, where M is the number of meals purchased. What is the balance on the meal card after 20 meals have been purchased? So 20 meals. M is the number of meals. So I'm going to replace the M with a 20. Order of operations says I should multiply before I add or subtract. And then I finish order of operations, and I've got 400. So my balance is $400. After how many meals will the balance of the meal card be 0? So if I want the balance to be 0, I'm going to replace the left side with a 0. I need to figure out how many meals, so I need to get M by itself. So I'm going to do minus 500 on both sides. That's going to give me negative 500 is equal to negative 5M. I'm going to rewrite that over here. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5, and I get 100 is equal to M. So after 100 meals, my balance will be 0. Next, classify each function as linear or nonlinear. So linear means that we have an x to the first power. Okay, we don't have any other like special x's inside special things. This is an absolute value, so this is nonlinear. We have an x to the first. We don't have any other x's in here, so this is linear. We have an x squared, nonlinear. We learned last unit that that means it's quadratic. We have 5 to the x. That is not linear. We learned last unit that that's exponential. And then we have 9 minus 7x. X is to the first. Remember, we don't have to write that first power, but it is there, so that one is linear. Next, we have graph, and we can use a table of values. So you guys learned how to graph a couple ways. We can use a table of values here. They gave us some x values. So if we want, we can go ahead and replace x with these values. And then we follow order of operations. So negative 1/2 times negative 4 is going to give me positive 2. Positive 2 plus 3 is 5. So that gives me the coordinates negative 4, 5. Hang on 1 second. All right, so we're going to continue with this question. We're going to plug in the -2, follow order of operations. We get +1 plus 3. So this is going to be the point -2, +4. We're going to plug in the 0. So we get 0 plus 3, which is 4. And we're going to plug in the +2, which is going to give us -1 plus 3, which is 2. And we're going to plug in the +4, which is going to give us -2 plus 3, which is 1. And then we're going to plot these points on our graph. So our first point, -4, +5, -2, +4, 0, 3, 2, 2, and 4, 1. So we can connect those then with a line, and we have our graph.